back. I apologize, as I said earlier. Something's going on with the internet. This time it is not our setup. Our setup is as usual, the way it's supposed to be, but we get that stuff. Yes, thank you.
Amen.
Amen.
Confirmation.
But we had a couple of oopses showing up and appearing, and we can see when it's happening here on this side as well. And it's this internet that, I mean, it's, you pay top money for the internet, but instead you get low grade type stuff. And
I know.
Please forgive us, and I pray that we can go on.
We
And
still
not have
using
to worry.
fiber optics?
Are we?
I mean, are they still using fiber optics underground, or are they using something else now?
I don't know. I know they're
Because it seems like whatever they're using is questionable.
All right. So,
Okay.
See, we just read James 5, 10 and 11, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so like I said, here James deals with two things. He deals with the prophets as an example. Like I said, you look in the Old Testament, the prophets, most of the prophets were either killed, and if they weren't killed, then they were persecuted.
Mhm.
History says that Isaiah was sawed in two. Can you imagine being alive and being sawed in two?
Alive.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and not just the people who were a part of writing the Bible.
Mhm.
If you look at Fox's Book of Martyrs, you find many people who profess Christ were put to death in some kind of manner that somebody thought that would be enough torture to make you recant or make you turn against Christ. And many of people went to their deaths professing Jesus Christ. And so I can only hope and pray that that we can be strong. Also, if that happens to come to America,
So be it.
One day.
We done already gone this far, pastors. Like, I don't see no way to turn back. You know, I'm sure, like you're getting ready to say, that there will be some that are going to, they're going to break. But, once you get to this point, hey, I already know where I'm going. So go ahead and do whatever you got to do, because there's so many ways to torture a person. But I think what it was, the crucifixion was the worst one of all tortures, or is it something else?
Well, I
Doesn't
mean,
really matter.
The crucifixion, but I think also the beating right along with it.
All that.
And then your flesh leaning and pressing and tight against that wood, and who knows? I mean, it's just horrible. The Romans were great engineers of slow, torturous murder.
Yes.
They were good at it. And so, needless to say, that's what Jesus went through. And then, I mean, there's horrible ways that, and it's different for everybody. Some people might say, you know what, if I die, the worst kind of death would be water, or fire, or falling or something. Everybody in their own mind has this great fear of what they don't want to happen.
Yeah.
But believe me, there's somebody that has in their head a horrendous way that you could die, and agonizing pain. Amen. All right, so we continue here. Like I said, Isaiah was sawed in two. That's what history tells us, and then also it talked about the prophets, but it also talked about Job. Job was mentioned in those particular verses right there, 9 and 10. And it says, and then in Job chapter 1, it says that he was blameless, upright, which means there was nothing crooked about him. He was upright, nothing crooked. He feared God and he shunned evil. So those are four things that it said about him. He lost everything. Think about this. Job lost everything and he never sinned. Now, you say, what, Pastor? I thought the only person that never sinned was Jesus. When I'm saying never sinned, that's not what I'm talking about. A lot of us will sin when all of these catastrophes, if they came upon us. If you lost all the animals that you own, which is your money, your You know, for us, it's like, I don't want no animals except a dog and a cat. Well, that portrayed into their prosperity. That's what that was. That was part of what they did in their day to day. So that showed how they were prospering by what they had: animals, camels, donkeys, cows. You know, all these animals that they had. So he lost all their animals, lost all their fields, lost all his servants, even his children died. And
Yes.
yet it tells us that he never sinned. And what that's talking about is many of us would sin against God and curse him. That's why the devil left his wife.
Yeah.
You know, he said, I'm going to use her too, because I think she can influence him big time here. And sure enough, what he do after he had the boils and after God allowed him to touch him with sickness, she said, why don't you just go ahead and curse God and die? See, so I mean, so Satan was using her as well in that. So if we look at Job chapter 1 verse 22, here it tells us, it reminds us that Job never sinned.
Amen. And it reads as follows: Job chapter 122. In all this, Job did not sin nor did not charge God with wrong.
See, so he didn't blame God and say, God, this is your fault. You did this to me. You're the reason why this happened. And he never charged God.
Amen.
And that's that here. It's telling us he never sinned.
Amen.
He never sinned about that and blamed God for it. A lot of us, we would turn around and blame God and shake our hands and say, God, why'd you do this to me? Why'd you allow this? I was faithful to you. I was good. I praise you. I prayed every morning. I prayed every night. They go through the litany of all the things that they did to show their love for God. And then all of a sudden something happens to them. And then they start shaking their hands at God. Pointing their fingers at him, wagging their fingers. Amen. And so James says, I want you to remember, Job, when times get tough, persevere. See, that's why he used Job as an example. You know, many of us don't have anything to complain about when you look at the life of Job. You thinking, whoa, I hush my mouth. I don't, no need for me to even be complaining.
That's right.
What I'm going through is nothing compared to what Job went through. He lost
these light
everything.
afflictions.
Yeah, exactly. Light afflictions. And so James wants us to remember Job when you're going through these tough times. He wants us to persevere, lean into the Lord. Don't get mad. Don't get mad with God. Okay? Because the thing is, we forget the big picture. The big picture is that God has something going on, and we get so focused in on our lives and what's going on with us that we forget the bigger picture that God is doing. And God's trying to also grow us through these. He allows these things to happen to us so that we can grow.
Amen.
Look at now, Romans chapter 8, verse 18.
Amen.
Romans chapter 8, verse 18.
Chapter 8, 18 reads as follows. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us.
Read that one more time, brother.
Okay.
And now listen to what he's saying. Go ahead, brother.
It says here, for I consider that the sufferings of this present time.
Okay, so he considers that the suffering of this present time, where he was at this point in his life at this time, and remember, he's writing this to the Romans, and so I believe at this time he's in a Roman jail, Roman prison. He's waiting for his marching orders, whether or not I believe he knows he's probably going to die at some point because they're a little hostile towards Christians. But anyway, for the sufferings of this present time that he was in, the chains that were wrapped around his wrists. Okay, go ahead.
Are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us.
Not worthy to be compared. Amen. Whatever you're suffering, whatever you're going through, they're not worthy to be compared to what's coming and what's ahead in Jesus.
Amen.
In Jesus, through Jesus, and because of Jesus. Amen. That's the right perspective that we're to have.